conversations, just so that they can also introduce themselves before we start. Is there any representative present before we go on? Great. Thank you so much for letting us know who you are. And CodeHub is actually responsible for gathering all of us here. So we are grateful for the platform for such conversations. Is there any other organizational representative from our partners? Unda Youth Network, Blossoming Minds Foundation. Okay, if there is none, I am sure they will join us in as we go on. So for today's conversation, we have two very incredible women leading us in the conversation. Our first speaker is going to be Peris Mutena. She has a background in psychology and she works closely with communities and young people to make mental health support more accessible for them. She is passionate about conversations that are usually overlooked, including the realities of underserved communities and the connection between finances and mental well-being. And we are delighted to have her with us today as a speaker. Karibu sana Peris. Our other speaker, who will be joining her, is Jacqueline Kamau. Jacqueline is a counseling psychologist and a wellness consultant who is passionate about helping people grow, heal, navigate life's challenges with greater resilience. And given her experience in working with trauma, emotional wellness, and even personal growth, we are especially excited to hear her perspective on how financial stress impacts mental health. So, welcome, Jacqueline. We're excited to have you as well. So, maybe we can just have the two speakers just briefly say hi before we can start with Peris. So, Peris can take over and lead us in the conversation after they've both said hi. So, hi, Peris.
Hi, Diana. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good. Hi, everybody. React with your favorite emoji. Send me some love. So, I'm really excited to be here. I am the founder of Mindful Moments Generation. We're going to get to know each other as we proceed in the conversation. And I hope that, you all have this nice energy to just dive into the conversation and talk about something that actually feels sometimes really hard to speak about. yeah, so I'm excited. Thank you so much, NCOD, for having me.
Great. We are excited to have you as well. So, Jacqueline, maybe you can also introduce yourself so that we hear you and know who we are expecting from.
Hi everyone, my name is Jackie or Jacqueline Kamau, Jacqueline George. I'm a therapist by profession. I have a cold, so you guys will bear with me today. But I'm glad and happy to be here to have this conversation on healing trauma and the financial conversation that is affecting most of us. A lot of Kenyans are living below the poverty line. So this is a much needed conversation. Yeah. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much. And we're sorry about the cold. We hope you get better. Maybe even before we start, I can just remind you guys that this is a conversation. So please engage, talk to our speakers. Don't let them feel like they're just talking to themselves. Ask questions if you have them. I am sure they will be more than willing to answer or even just help us explore our opinions and our point of views. And let's have an engaging conversation. You can also be sharing the link while you listen to people you feel would benefit from the conversation. So I think we can start now. Paris, maybe you can start us off.
Yes, please allow me to share my screen. You'll tell me if you can see it. Just a minute. Mhm. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
You can just react. So today we're going to be discussing understanding poverty-related trauma and financial anxiety. Basically, why I chose the word financial anxiety and not like just generally all the mental health impacts that these finances have on us is because financial anxiety is the highest level of financial issue, be it being worried, will I get a job, or if I spend this money, will I be able to build generational wealth, or my kids are going to start suffering the same way I suffered. Where there is money, there's always anxiety. Will I tell my partner how much I earn? Will I let my partner in? If I get money, do I have to separate with my partner? And all those million questions. So, as I said, I'm Paris Motena. I'm a psychologist in training. I'm the founder of Mindful Moments Generation. Here, basically, we offer mindfulness sessions, just pauses outside nature. Think about yoga, but not in that way, in a bit of an African way, where we're telling people this moment to pause brings you back to yourself. You'll wonder why your grandparents had very high intuition, why some people are very grounded. There's a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress going around, be it anything, the political state of the nation, especially right now, be it your relationships, be it work. So we're helping people to actually get grounded, and we're working a lot with a lot of young adults and just communities, and we're asking ourselves, what can we do for communities that don't get everyday clinical mental health services? Can we teach them these coping skills? So to find out more about our work, you can just look us up on Instagram, Mindful Moments Generation. So let's dive in. So, poverty-related trauma. So, just a minute. Yeah, poverty-related trauma. So it's the emotional and psychological harm that's caused by ongoing economic hardship and instability. So when young people like us are constantly facing fears of housing insecurity, food scarcity, parental financial stress, a lot of us have come out to speak a lot about what's it called? Black tax. So it deeply impacts their development and their well-being. Lol. Okay. Then we have what are the psychological effects of financial stress on youth? So youth who are facing financial hardships, they often experience chronic stress and constant worry, leading to insecurity, fear about the future, and it makes them very difficult for them to concentrate. And over time, the pressures increase and sometimes they lead to depression and anxiety disorders. So, just a quick question for all of us. What is the one fear that you have right now that's related to finances? Be it, you can just put it up on the chat box. Be it you're worried you're not able to take care of your bills, be it you're worried you're failing your parents, be it you're feeling like you have a job that's not good for you mentally, be it that you're actually feeling like your other friends are progressing and you're not progressing career wise, just be it anything, be it you've gotten a job and you actually feel so imposter, you feel like you don't belong there. So what current financial issue are you looking at, or financial stress do you have? Yeah, you can just put it up on the chat box. What current financial issue do you have? Yeah, you can just put it in the chat box and mute and speak. Let me hear from, I don't know, Kelvin. I can see Paul. Yeah, you guys can speak to us because I'm pretty sure all of us have issues. Okay, I'm going to go fast, right? I think I have a lot of fear in the future, like will I be able to build a money and career lifestyle that supports my kind of lifestyle? Like, what kind of lifestyle do I want? I essentially probably I don't want to work an 8 to 5. I want a career that supports my work-life balance. Looking at it like I'd want to be a mom in the future and I'd want to be present and all of that. So I'm constantly asking myself, are there spaces, are there opportunities
Hey, Paris, I think we've lost you. Okay, I think there's a problem with her network. She's trying to rejoin. While we wait for Paris to rejoin the conversation, maybe we can be putting in the chat box some of the financial stresses that we have currently. That's what she was asking before we lost her, so that when she comes, she can just address them. Hey, no one else has financial issues and stresses they're currently going through. Just put them in the chat box. She will address them all.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You lost me there for a minute. My internet connection. As I was saying, I was asking people to share what financial stress are they actually going through. I don't know. Can I hear from Diana? What did they say?
Yeah, so
Uh-huh.
Jacqueline said not being able to meet basic needs.
Yeah.
We have Seth who said not being able to achieve the life that he wants. And I said not being able to hit financial targets.
Or my needs outweighing my income, not getting enough to achieve my target goals. Okay, so
Yes.
I see we share very much similarly. Everybody feels like they don't have enough money to live the life of their dreams yet, or they feel like their needs outweigh, their income. So we're asking ourselves, what are the signs and symptoms of financial anxiety? Guys, let me tell you a short story. And I know one of those people is here with us. I have a friend mwenye kama hana pesa, guys, anagonjeka. She literally falls sick. She'll start having a headache. She'll start sometimes vomiting. She grows very moody and we're not able to approach her. Ninajua mko hapa. Najua, si ndio? Alafu sasa najua kuna wenye they are on the opposite side of tumia pesa urudi, right? I know there are those two people. And then there's another one who holds on to money hata ajispoil, they hold on to money too much to an extent. They're just giving themselves basics. They're living a basic life as opposed to, there's a basic life, there's a comfortable life, and then there's a luxurious life. They have the ability to even live a luxurious life, but they're living not even close to comfort. They're just basic. They're so afraid, especially for people who grew up in very low income backgrounds or very humble backgrounds. Sometimes they're afraid maybe they would use the money alafu pesa iishe warudi huko ama watoto waishi hivyo. And that's trauma. That's something we actually don't talk about enough, and we're going to explore. So signs, one, there's a lot of worry about your expenses and bills. You're avoiding social activities due to cost concerns. And this is not you telling your friends, I'm not able to show up because currently that's not on my budget, or I'm saving for a big girl purchase, as girls would call it. It's you just completely disappearing from your friends and social activities without explanation. Sometimes you don't have the cash, but you're like, you tell your boy, could you foot this for me because I'm not in a good place? That's not exactly avoiding a social activity. It's just completely going mute, not interacting with friends, because sometimes you feel like they'll look at you in a certain way because you don't have the income, or they demand too much from you and you're not able to set the boundaries. As I was saying, physical symptoms, headaches and stomach aches. Yeah? Sleep disturbances and fatigue. You cannot sleep, or you're sleeping too much, and then you're feeling embarrassed. And what I always want to tell people is people cannot help a case they actually don't know, right? If you don't have enough money because you're on a budget, you're saving, sometimes it's not like necessarily you're broke, that's why you can't go for a social activity. Sometimes you're saving for more serious things, right? So if you communicate that to your friends, or if your friends would go out and spend a lot of money, and then you have to foot the bill, because there are people who are considered rich friends by their friends. You're supposed to tell them beforehand, we will go to this and this place, and this is, you will go to this and this place, and this is the cost, approximate budget or cost for every person. Yeah, so if you have such an amount, you're welcome to come, so that they actually know you're preparing them before time to know that today I'm not footing the bill for all of you. And then we have the impact on mental health and development. So financial anxiety impairs your emotional regulation. It makes you really hard for you to, manage stress and frustration. I remember a certain evening I was dealing with something else, not exactly financial frustration, but I was so dysregulated. I remember I broke down, and I actually needed a lot of support from the friends that were close to me. So this anxiety constantly makes you feel so stressed and so frustrated, especially for this let me not say this, as young people who want to get jobs, who want to live a certain lifestyle. So long-term effects could be low academic achievement and reduced career opportunities. Let me speak about the people in campus who are trying to do a side job and they're also trying to do academics. Maybe they're fully dependent on themselves. Rent is due, you've not met the finances, and now you're all stressed and your academics are suffering. And reduced career opportunities. Let me just say this with all honesty. The more frustrated and stressed and anxious you are, the less likely you're able to land a career opportunity. One, you're not even able to sit down and systematically ask yourself, how are we applying for jobs in this job market? Are we sending CVs every other time? You'll discover no. Probably we're even sending different CVs to different jobs. We are networking more because maybe the job market has become this one big referral. It's become this one big referral market or network. We are posting on our socials more. We are actually volunteering to organizations where you would want to go more. So the more you're frustrated and the more you're in your bubble, you're not able to actually reach the opportunities that are out there. You see, when people are always like, put yourself out there, what they actually mean is come out of your bubble or your self-isolation or the frustration and try to do something, try to meet people, try to see the people you want to be like, what are they actually doing, and work backwards. What I do with myself is, this is the kind of lifestyle I'm trying to achieve. Who are the people in my circle, who not even necessarily in my circle, who do I look up to? And they're living the life I want to live. Now I'm going to work backwards. What do I mean by work backwards? These people didn't start in that lifestyle. What did they do? Did they volunteer for a role? Did they start running a community organization? Did they after then, start applying to global opportunities? So I'll try and work backwards. And I think that's very difficult, especially for us who are trying to, young people, to maintain a certain lifestyle, or they want certain things at a certain time. Anyway, what are our coping mechanisms? One, we are seeking support. Seeking support is an underrated way. Right now, I could just be going through the most, and I call my friend, I call my mom, and I just tell them, I've had a really terrible day, and this has happened, and that has happened. And I cry a little and I sleep. And tomorrow it's going to be okay. Then we are developing budgets. We're going to speak about budgeting somewhere next, and financial literacy skills. Literally, I don't know. I want to see by show of hands who's been to a financial literacy skill or just a talk where we are talking about money before. I see Jacqueline. Who else? And you see, it's something that we've not been talking about aside from like a professional field. I know Jacqueline is a professional and sometimes you'll hear about that. So we are trying to get these financial conversations to these young people at grassroots, because you'll see people on LinkedIn thriving and you're like, how alifika aje huko? What have they been doing? Which world am I living in? And then again, we are practicing mindfulness and stress management techniques. When you find yourself very overstimulated, very frustrated, and you're irregulated up to a point where maybe your hands are shaking or your body is doing too much, you can do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique. What are 5 things you see? What are maybe 4 things that you, how does it go? A psychologist in the house, it's 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can, I think, smell, and then 1 thing you can taste. Yeah. So again, after that, you're supposed to engage in some positive activities, being just logging into a webinar or going to, an online session where people are volunteering or trying a hobby or just something that's free. Like for me, when I feel really frustrated, I read online. So I just pick up a book and read a bit, and I feel a bit better. Then resources and support systems. You don't have to navigate this stress alone. You can seek school counselors, especially for people in uni. I was part of the peer counseling club in uni, and what happened is that some of these school counselors had like some money set aside for bursaries. They have some money set aside for what are these things called? Meal cards. So when an extremely needy student comes in, be always try to find out what help can I get you? No, what help can I get myself? Because there are always these avenues. There are community organizations where you can walk into, and if you don't have basics like food, like sanitation, they can actually help. And then there are online resources where if you feel too overwhelmed, you can actually call and speak to them. So I have 2 case studies with me here today, and now we have gotten to the interactive session of the webinar. Stretch a bit, get your hands ready to type, get yourself ready to contribute. Let's go. Okay. So our first case study is Maria. So Maria is 17 years old. She helps care for her younger siblings while her parents face unemployment, and the stress from the unstable housing and food insecurity is weighing really heavy on her. And through a school counselor support and her peer group, she's learning to manage her anxiety and build resilience. So in this case, probably this is someone who's in uni, or this is someone who's in the last year in high school, right? And they're able to speak to our school counselor, because for a lot of us, school is where we ran away from problems at home. Be it you had a very strict mother who was shouting at you, or you didn't have food, or whatever. So she's able to speak out and she's able to get the help. And now we have Jamal, who I'm pretty sure Jamal is a lot of us. Let's say he's 19 to 22. And he works part-time while attending college or even after college. So he's balancing bills and studies, which have led to anxiety and sleep problems. And now through financial planning workshops and counseling, he's been able to manage his stress and build a sustainable future. I'm pretty sure Jamal is all of us. And one thing I know all of us, or a lot of people, like to do is to live with their issues and live with their pain. Be it they want to hit financial goals, or they want to budget more so that their lifestyle matches their income, or they're trying to get a job. A lot of people don't speak even about what they're doing. They don't speak about, what they're going through in terms of, you could just hit your friend up, or just talk to a close friend and just tell them, this is what I'm trying to manage. What do you actually think I can do? You'll be very surprised that the people next to you, your family and friends, they have the solution. So we're going to talk about types of money mindsets, and all of us are going to tell me where they lie. I am going to start with myself. I'm going to start with myself. At the moment, all of us I know are working towards the abundance mindset, right? And you've heard about people speak about it. So I'm going to start with myself. I think I am still at the scarcity mindset, but as I said, we are all a work in progress. So what we believe is that there is never enough money. Najua kila mtu anasemanga pesa haitoshi. So we are focusing on survival and not growth, and then we fear to spend or invest, and it leads to financial anxiety and missed opportunities due to fear. Because sometimes what people will not tell you is that scarcity mentality is not even about like finances only. Sometimes it's even in opportunities. You get an opportunity and you're very imposter. You feel like you don't belong there. You feel like even after all the work you've put in, you feel like this is not for me. Then there's an avoidance mindset. They believe that money is stressful. They avoid checking budgeting or checking finance. The people that are using mobile banking, you all will say, I've done too much damage for the weekend. Wacha tu ningoje hiyo notification ya you have insufficient funds. Or you feel like you are not in control of your money, maybe even from a very young age, you feel like my money is housing, and then you end up overwhelmed. And then there's I think is a lot, especially for the young generation. You believe that money equals success. Money is not anything. My friends, money is also not everything. Money is a tool. And what kind of tool do you look at it as? Is it a tool to give you freedom? Is it a tool to give you, assets? Is it a tool for you to give you positions? So you end up spending to impress others. You have social comparison. You risk debt and overspending, and your identity is tied to material things. You will hear he got money and he changed kuliko Zuena. So this is where they currently are, at a status mindset, where we believe that, having iPhones and Nini is actually the new cool. Then now the abundance mindset. We believe that opportunities are available. We focus on possibilities and solutions. When you put out that job application, when you approach a person, you actually say, I think I did this really well. I need to work on this. And maybe when I do, I'll get the opportunity. You're open to learning and growth. You're actually open to feedback. Right now, I know when you start telling somebody about their financial choices and decisions, and you're like, oh, I actually think maybe you could work more on this. You could invest here and invest there. Saa ingine nakwambia pesa ni yake. And this even goes all the way to marriage. You will find a husband and a man and wife who have completely different mindsets. Maybe the wife wants to invest more. The husband just wants to have fun more. And it's a whole disagreement, guys. So you see setbacks as temporary, and you encourage positive risk-taking. These are the investors. These are people who we've seen build things from the ground up. I was seeing somebody on TikTok asking if we have people in this generation who are actually building things. You see the way these big organizations were built, like Elon Musk. They feel like maybe us young people are too complacent. We don't want a hard job. We don't want a stressful job. We want a job with certain requirements or a certain income, which is also actually a good thing, because I think all of us have been told, work hard, work smart, don't work hard. So how does the smart look like for us in this generation? We're actually believing that there are opportunities that can give us the value for what we offer. But again, there's also always a starting point, and we actually believe that we can build the lives that support us. So now I asked everybody, before we move on, which one is your money mindset? Which one? Let me see. Everybody. Oh, okay. Okay, I see Jacqueline is working towards abundance mindset. Prashi, I hope I didn't butcher your name, has an abundance mindset. Kelvin has an abundance and avoidance. Oh, okay. There should be an anxious mindset added to this. Okay, I'll look that up. Yes, I see Diana is still at scarcity mindset. So I don't know. Let me see the rest. Where are you guys at? Where is Kare at? Where is Dennis at? Where is Gibbons at? Where is Julia at? Where is Martha at? Where is Patience at? Where is Paul at? Where is Seth at? Where are you guys at? I'm very curious to know where you guys at. We are taking a poll so that we know where are we guys at, so that I know who am I actually speaking to. You've been working towards abundance, and the results are positive. This is nice to hear. Let's hear the rest. Where are you guys at? Where are you guys at? Where are you guys at? You're avoiding, eh? Wow, guys, you are at Abundance. Okay, that's really interesting, eh? That's really interesting. They're struggling with scarcity mentality. Okay. A bit of abundance and avoidance. Why are the men falling in the avoidant? I see most guys. Yeah, which is okay. Yes, it's okay to feel like it's a bit of all of them, because I think these money personalities show up differently in different situations, but there's always a dominant one. Okay, let's see. Where are you all at? Okay, let's work with that. So budgeting. Who has a budget here? Who has a budget here? Or yeah, I'm very curious. There are a lot of budget templates online, some that are free, some that are sold. Who has a budget here? Ama you will spend money for a whole month and then utakula Indomie. I know, like today is today is the 30th. Today is a perfect example. Yeah? Leo jana kutoka 27th, 28th, you know, when you're waiting for your salary, yeah? Hapo unakula tu Indomie na maji. I see those funny TikToks of today's lunch at the workplace. You see the way people, and there are people who meal prep and then they carry food. Hizo siku watu wanakula very weird things. So who has a budget here to start with? Who has a budget? Let alone sticking to it. Who has a budget? You just have a budget. Who has a budget? Who sticks to their budget? Okay, interesting. You do a daily budget, in terms of like from your total salary, how much you're supposed to spend daily. Please elaborate for us. Daily budget, like I'm supposed to spend this for transport every day, this for food every day, right? And I know I'm talking young people who have little to no responsibilities, and that's why we don't have budgets. Sindio? Yeah? That's why we don't have budgets. Prashi, Paul, Mercy, I can see those young faces. Yeah, yeah, Kelvin has one that when they're broke. When out of the 2,000, they're only left with 200. Now they budget for the 200. Okay. Yeah, I know. I can see from the faces. We are very young people. That's why I feel like budgeting is for all these. That's what young people would say. So, yeah, budgeting is a very essential tool. You know, people will always say, if you're not a good steward of this 200 that I give you, what makes you think that you can handle the 200 million that I give you? Which I completely agree. Based on a true story, a personal experience, let's just say that. You always think that now when you get a lot of money, you'll be responsible. But if you don't put in the systems, utaharibu tu yo mingi hivyo venye uliharibu hii kidogo. So there are budgets, and budgets are daily. There's, as she said, there what do they say about your earnings? How much is supposed to go to needs? How much is supposed to go to wants? And how much is supposed to go to, how much is supposed to go to, what are they called? Like basics. Yeah, you will see those people. Oh, you don't even earn. But I'm assuming even if you're not earning, probably are you a student or something? Do you get, even the upkeep that you get is still income? Yeah, it's still income. So I always see those people calculating salary, where you're supposed to live according to your salary range. Na I don't know, unapata mtu wa 80,000 anafaa aishi single room, because I don't know, they say it's supposed to be a 30, I think 30% of your income. So budgeting starts from your daily, be it rent, be it food, be it like clothes, and then your needs. Actually, a hack that has worked for me, especially as someone in the scarcity mentality, I hold on a lot to money. I have put a needs fund. What's a needs fund? Where I'm putting maybe 500 monthly to spend on something fun I need, so that I actually feel like, and girls will call it girl math. If I put it aside, it's literally free. So that has helped me to feel like I can actually really enjoy my small money, even as I budget. And then now there's the savings and there's the investment. I know people will start saying we are too young to save. Guys, we're not too young to save in this Kasongo's economy. If you can open a savings account and just put your 5 shillings, your 10. In fact, if there's advice I'd give a child in baby class, they should start saving now and today. If you put your 100 shillings and it's in a locked account, I've personally used Chooms. So I put out a goal where I want to go for a solo trip for all my birthdays in my 20s. And that was a lot of money, because one solo trip is about 40 to 50,000 for that period. And now I was asking myself, what exactly do I do? And I discovered that if I put out 100 shillings every day from one birthday to the next birthday, I'll actually get money to do a solo trip. And I tried that and it actually worked with Chooms, if any of you know Chooms. So a lot of times the money that you are putting aside seems very insignificant. I remember when I was a kid and my mom was teaching me about finances, na sijui mashilingi ilienda hapi, the 1 bob shillings. So she used to, alikuwa natoa 1 bob shillings from her purse, especially on Friday after doing like house shopping. And that back then 1 bob inaka very insignificant. So she was like, I want to show you a bit of magic. So we actually took out a bowl, not a bowl, what is it called? Let's just call it a bowl with a container, a container. Tukakata hapo juu, and we would put all the 1 shilling coins she would come with. And it became my responsibility to keep asking for my parents every single day, mkona shilingi, and we put it together. And I remember after a few months, we went to Naivas, and then we exchanged that money for now notes. And I think that's the richest. In fact, I've never felt that rich in my life again. And I think that's just taught me the power of when we are accumulating things slowly. So a good budget is simple. It shows how much you earn, how much you spend, and how much you save. You're able to look at it at a glance and see it. Then it prioritizes basic needs, future goals, savings, and always have an emergency fund, because anything can happen. And it's supposed to be realistic. Usieke hapo you're budgeting for investments 10,000 and you're earning the 10,000. That's actually not realistic, and that's why you're very anxious, because you don't feel in control. And you're supposed to budget consistently. Si mwezi na hiyo mwezi ingine how budget, right? So we've seen that women are slightly more likely to budget carefully and consistently, and then men are sometimes more likely to take financial risks and focus on investing and more growth and all of that. So it's question time. A quick ones. So which one of the following do you need more? I'm very curious. Let me see. With reasons, with reasons, right? Yeah, with reasons. Let's see. What do you need more? Quick one so that we welcome our next speaker before time runs out. What do you think you need more? An iPhone 16, and you need food, or you need money to hang out with your friends, or you need basic pocket money? What do you think you need more right now? What do you need more? I'm going to start. I need money to hang out with friends. No, not like you need food. You have food, but haustaki kupika. By food, I mean is you do not exactly know where you're going to get your next meal. Or it's not like you need money to spend money on food. You know, some of us are foodies, so any money you get, you're spending on food. So, which one do you need more right now? I feel like maybe if you have a content creator on here, they'd need an iPhone 16 more, because I feel like now that supports where they want to go in life. If you need an iPhone for status factors, I'm looking at you. And then there's some who need food, which is a basic, right? And that's why we said you can get some avenues for help for such things. And then there are people who need money to hang out with their friends. Maybe they're feeling overwhelmed, or they're feeling like their friends are having so much fun and then they're living a boring life. And then, wow, all of you need basic pocket money. Okay. Yeah, I think 4 also equates like money to buy food. Okay, guys. Because they are like a lot, and I need to do every day. Oh, money to travel more. Matthew, you can use that hack I used. How much do you need for the trip, and how much does that look like saving every day? Okay, I'm interested. I'm curious. You guys need basic. There's so many people who need basic pocket money. What is your range? Your basic pocket money ni kama shilingi ngapi? Or what do you exactly need it for? Because I see I need a basic pocket money because there's a lot to be done every single day. I think when you say there's a lot to be done every single day, it looks like more like you need income, because basic pocket money is just day to day. Maybe you need to get food. You need to get food, you need to get a few clothes, or you need to get a few basic essentials. Think about it as someone in uni. They're the ones who need like basic pocket money. Or think about it like someone who's living with their parents. Maybe they need basic pocket money to hang out more with their friends, to buy a bit more nice things. So I see some of us need a bit of basic pocket money. Okay. So question 2, what does your dream financial life look like? And what exactly are you doing right now to move forward to it, and how far are you? I know a lot of us, our financial dreams look like, I need to have a Range Rover, I want to live in this story of a house, I want to live this kind of lifestyle, which is very valid. It's very valid to have dreams, and you don't have to feel like I can't reach there because I'm in a bad place right now. So it would look like, what are you doing to move towards it? Are you putting in the work? Are you applying to bigger opportunities? Are you starting something that's scaring you, that's scaring the hell out of you, that you're afraid that if I start, will I have enough likes? Will I have enough following? Will I have enough support? And you're still starting it. So what are you doing to move to your financial dream life? Let me hear a few responses of what we are doing to move to our financial dream life. Let's quickly, so that we bring our next speaker on board. Higher. So question 3, why would you choose your current money habits or financial mindset? And is it shaping the future you're creating for yourself? Would you choose your current? Would you choose your current money habits and financial mindset? Would you choose it? I see everybody is trying to save. Oh, wow, this is very beautiful. Okay, this is really nice. So, do you have a plan that's making you feel like you're saving, but you're also not neglecting yourself to the maximum? Like I said, there needs to be a balance. Like I said, the way I put a spending fund where I just put a bit of money so that I actually feel like, sometimes saving actually feels draining when you're saving too much and not spending anything for fun or to make yourself actually feel nice. So it feels like, today those savings have to save me. So are you choosing your current money habits and financial mindset? Then what is one thing that you have done today that is supporting your financial life? Any milestone you have done today, and that one I want to hear from you. Whether you have put that 100 bob aside. Oh, okay. I see someone is saying you're saving first, then spending, not spending, then saving. Okay. This is something I feel like I want to. Okay. I think you mean that when money comes in, you first put your savings and then you put the rest. Is that what you mean? Alternatively, you could be meaning we are saving everything and not spending anything, and then we will spend after we save. And I think this mostly happens to most of us, where your savings every single week are the ones that keep saving you. Hiyo pesa unatuma mshwari ndio unatoa. It's because we don't have a balance of how we are doing things. We are putting it all in the savings, and life sometimes can't move when all your money is in the savings. So you need a financial life that money works for you. Yes, that they're investing more in bonds and all of that. Oh, joy. Yes, I totally agree with you. In fact, this weekend, I told myself I am staying indoors because outside is too expensive. When I came in on Friday, I bought everything I needed, beat the vegetables, beat the snacks I had budgeted for kidogo for the weekend. And I said, I'm not going out because outside is very expensive. And that is a form of self-awareness. There are people that know they're spending too much. Saving more but enjoying life too. Yes, that's quite a good balance where you know that you actually need to save, but you also actually have to live a life that reflects who exactly you are. So we've come to the end. So thank you so much. So you can't do this alone. Reach out, learn, and build resilience. So you can explore your local resources and talk to someone you trust. As I said, the solution to your financial issues, that job you're looking for, that volunteering experience you're looking for, that working backwards that you're looking for from someone who you really look up to, could just be a simple LinkedIn DM. It could just be a simple conversation. So reach out to people. There are some opportunities that we have a very hidden job market, not even a job market necessarily, even opportunities for help. They could be totally hidden. So explore your resources, sit down and budget for your money, and talk to someone you trust. And as always, please, I love to say this, that nobody, absolutely nobody, beginning with me, has figured it out. We are all a work in progress, and we are all taking small, steady steps. Don't lose your focus on E50 bob naeka saving kila siku tu huyu anashinda out, huyu anaishi hivi. Now you're concentrating on their lifestyle. You're not even working towards the lifestyle. Sasa umeacha the small goals that you're putting in place. So don't feel like, oh, you have not figured it out, or you have too much. So keep putting yourself out there. Keep believing in yourself. Keep building your abundance mindset, and keep going generally. And from me to you, I know you are doing amazing. From what you have said you're trying to do, I know you're doing amazing, and everything is going to fall into place. Thank you so much for your time. Have a lovely evening.
Wow, thank you so much, Patrice, for that engaging conversation. I think one of the things that have stuck with me through this was having financial boundaries. There's an example you gave for telling your friends, if you have this amount of money, you can come for the gathering, which I feel is a boundary I personally need to start implementing. And also the question that took a while for me to find an answer for, what are you doing to move to your financial dream life? I saw some of us saying that we were saving. I personally don't have an answer for that one, so I'll definitely be thinking through it after this. So thank you for that. In case you guys have any questions for Paris, please write them down somewhere so that you don't forget them. And then at the end of the conversation, we shall have a session for questions and opinions and conversations with you guys as well. So maybe now we can have Jacqueline. Jacqueline, karibu sana. We are excited to hear from you as well.
Thank you for having me, Diana. And thank you, Paris, for that presentation. It was relatable, kabisa. I could also relate. God, do I know how to screen share, guys? Just a bit.
Okay, maybe I can. Have you been able to find it?
It's what I'm doing. I'm trying to see where that download is.
Are you using a laptop or a phone?
I'm using a laptop.
Okay, it's right next to the video.
Sorry?
It's right next to the video icon. To the camera icon.
I know I am at screen share, then I go to Chrome or
maybe first you can open the document. And then while screen sharing, you select the tab that has your document.
Okay. I've downloaded it. I don't know. See party. I don't know if I can share to Paul. He does the screen sharing. Is that something possible?
Yes, it is. Or you can just share it with me so that I help you.
Let me share with him.
Okay.
I don't know kama anasikia because I don't know if he's online on WhatsApp, but I've shared with him. Maybe you can alert him to check.
Okay, let me do that.
WhatsApp. Oh, I found it. Here it is. I don't know kama where? God.
Yeah, we have another suggestion from Marcy. You can just share
the entire screen. My screen, Amma, you can see.
Pardon?
Can you see my screen?
No, we cannot.
I think I can. Let me see kama imekuja. Can you see?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for being so patient. We can start, guys. So forgive me for that. Na pia homa yangu, muni excuse, I'll try my best to present. So we are going to talk about the cost of survival, the topic of today, poverty, trauma, and even what's happening in our current times, even here in Kenya. So, najua kuweka. How do I go to the next slide, guys? Mimi niko green kitu. yeah. Don't know if it's this button. Mm-hmm. Okay. But I've shared the slides with you, Paul. Okay. Okay, no problem. I think I just wanted to know how to go to the next slide. That's all as I present. How do I go to the next one? Mhm. Arrow down. Okay. Mine is not clicking, so I'll just. Okay. Mi yangu haiwork. One. This is for entire screen, Paul. It's not working. Okay. So guys, I'll start. We are talking about the cost of survival. I wanted to start with a story. Of course, I'm a bit off balance because of that PowerPoint. But I'll start with a quote that says that poverty is not a lack of character. It is an active cognitive invader that consumes human bandwidth, leaving less room for tomorrow's dream. The quote is by Elder Shafir. He's a cognitive scientist at a minimum scale leo. I wanted to share a story. Imagine a mom like laying awake at 2 a.m. Like I'll give an example of myself because I'm a mother. Not because you have insomnia, but because you're trying to decide, do I pay rent? Do I buy medication? Or keep enough food in the house until Friday? I don't know if any of you have encountered such moments. Can you raise your hand if you umeikosa usingizi because of maybe you're thinking about tomorrow? Mercy has raised her hand. Anyone else? Julia, Diana, I think you guys can comment. Of course, it will be hard for me. I'll read the comments at the end. The reason why I'm sharing this, maybe I can give a backstory. I remember last year around June there, I think I hit rock bottom. Like my salary was not even, once I pay bills, I'm done, guys. Done. Hata huyo mtoto shule hajalipiwa. I remember my daughter was like, Mom, like kesho naenda salon, and you know how kids are confident, they think you can't lack. So me, I'm like, what? I don't even have 1K to my name, guys. All my accounts were 000. Nimeborrow hizo my mshwari fuliza, things were like bad. So I remember I stayed up. How I survived, you see me on the side, okay? I tell you my story, how I survived that season. But God is faithful, okay? For those who believe in God. If you don't, whatever you believe in, still faithful. So, okay. what happens when you're living in survival, like when your mind is in survival. We normally we and what we need currently, especially here in Kenya, let me talk about Kenya because it's a pain point. We shift our gaze from judgment and to understanding the heavy physiological toll of the scarcity. Okay, sometimes scarcity is mental, sometimes it's environmental. Like example, for someone who lives in arid areas, hajaiona gari. I don't know if you guys like me. Remember when I used to go to Shago as a kid? The kids there, they will be so amazed to see us, and us, we will be so amazed to see them, because we are like, wait, how are you surviving? And I think them, they're like, how are you? Where do you live? You stay in town, you know? Yeah. So the goal here is to shift our gaze from judgment to understanding, especially because we are all not having the same financial capacity. Okay. There's someone who's driving, there's someone who's taking a matatu. Do these people meet? And I'm telling you the reality on the ground, these people don't meet. There's such a huge gap between the rich and the poor. You would think wengine wako dunia ingine. I don't know if you guys have encountered that. So Juzi, I'm doing a certificate in counseling skills, psychosocial skills. And I've never been to Tattoo City. You guys have heard of Tattoo City? Anyone who has heard of Tattoo City here? Hey guys, me, I was shocked. Kwani which Kenya do I live in? I was like, hey, no. Sijui kama like karibu nianze kuamka hizo 3 a.m. nifanye hizo shakara bagaragara. Like, I was like, no way I'm going to continue living the way I'm living. And I know I should be discouraged because I'm like, me, I don't live in Tattoo City, but God, I wouldn't mind living a good life, okay? I was shocked. I was like, is this Kenya? Wait, kwanza hata Thika Road kumechapa. I'm so used to Thika Road going to Nairobi because that's where I've done my schooling. But then I'm like, where? I've not seen Kenya yet, okay? So one of the things that we are encountering is the heavy cost of living. My slides, I wish I had someone to do my slides with me, man. And these slides tunapelekana. So one of the things we are going to tax, the current tax rates, how it has taken a toll on us. Okay, guys, I'm not being political. I'm just stating facts, please. So this is not personal. I'm just presenting what I have. So when, like Paris was presenting, she talks about that when I'm echoing what she shared, that when we face severe financial stress and that noise of survival, it starts taking a toll on us. Like that mom, that dad wondering, wait, school fees itatoka wapi? Ama something simple as breakfast itatoka wapi, okay? And we'll keep choking at it. Oh, breakfast, yeah, comrades, until when, guys? It's not, there's this quote that says there's no glory in suffering, okay? It's a joke until it's not a joke. Especially if you're a parent, guys. If you see, like for me, I studied 844 system, and my sister studied IGCSE, our last born. And I'm telling you, Hatuko same, guys. We grew up in the same house, but we are not the same. And that's the reality. The school you go through, the environment you're exposed to, it kind of puts a taste in your mouth whether to choose poverty or abundance. So this deficit we have in Kenya, even right now, we wouldn't say it's personal or lack of intellect. Like hatutaita watu wajinga, even the uneducated ones. It is the consequences of the human mind forced to live on survival mode. And when you live on survival mode for so long, you start thinking it's actually normal. I'm giving an example of Thika Road. If you live on Thika Road for so long, you'll think uko ndiko, ni kama uko Hollywood. Let me tell you guys. Tembeeni muone, there are some good places to live in. You'll be shocked. You'll be like, wow, me, I'm even living in poverty. So how our brain is wired and how our nervous system is wired is that when we are constantly facing financially instability, our hormones, they become imbalanced, okay? And even the body's alarm chemicals are affected. This is biology, okay? And it starts reshaping how we process the world around us. So unapata so biological. I'm trying to simplify them. Unapata, you start living in a state of constant alarm or emergency. You're even saying like, and I know some of us are living like that. Tuseme ukweli, unasema like nikipata sapaya leo, me I'm good. Okay? Especially Gen Zs. And I'm not sidelining them or marginalizing them, but wakipata sapaya leo, they're like, I'm good, kesho itajipanga. And some of us millennials, we are living like that. Me, I started adopting the Gen Z mentality because I saw that nitakufa na stress, the easy jobs, these toxic jobs we have in Kenya. So when financial scarcity happens, it impairs our decision making, our attention and planning. I don't know if you guys have met kids when you enter public school na international school. Kids who are going to international schools have like, they have a plan, they have financial security, they have like schedules. Unajua schedules. Mtoto wa public and ndio wao wenye unasikia wanaibiwa sahi and wana kidnapiwa because it's so easy kudanganyilia huo mtoto. Hata unamwambia nikubaie biscuit ya 5 bob, mtoto amekufuata na kutrust, the next thing you know the kid is missing. Because even the parents, because they are living on survival mode, they don't have time for that kid. They don't have time to bond. Bora ameenda shule, kiatu ikae venye inakaa, uniform ikae venye inataka, then they are done. They're even exhausted. We are having a lot of exhausted parents walking around here. But you look at the kids in, let's say Crawford, ama sijui wapi, where those kids have schedules like hata hizo binders. From this time to this. So you see, that's a system that is there's financial abundance on one end and there's financial scarcity on the other end. Guys, I wish you could see my slide. It had some very nice images, but I'll share with Mr. Paul, no problem. So the invisible cycle. As a therapist, I remember last year I was onboarded by an organization. Oh, mnaiona? Can you guys see? Oh,
Yes, we can.
sorry. This whole time I'm thinking I'm talking to myself. Thank you. So as a therapist, one of last year I was onboarded by ASPAS, their mental wellness experts, and I remember a lady there sharing with me, when does this stop? When does this hustle stop? She had started taking care of herself from 18 years and now she's 27, 28 there. And she was asking me, at what point do I say I'm not going to clock in? Okay. And we walked that journey with her and she healed because she was even she was on the suicidal part of things. But I couldn't help but ask myself, by the way, when does this stop? Okay. So when resources are thin, like the slide is saying, every tiny decision becomes a high stakes hazard. Choosing to pay the bill, or filling a prescription. There's that battle, mental battle. And that's why a lot of us are experiencing what you call mental fatigue. And I'm imagining that dad, that mom, kuna kwanza sahi tokens. Oh my God. I don't know if you guys are suffering with tokens. Kai. Zangu zinaishanga zikiwa zimeekwa. Let me tell you. Ikiekwa tu hivi imeisha. Anyway. Unapata, am I going to nitaweka token? Tukae kwa giza? I will take care of mgonjwa, or will I buy my own medication? You know, those are some of the questions we are having to ask ourselves, even with the current healthcare we have. Okay. Also, unapata, this fatigue makes us so resilient. I don't know, being resilient is not a compliment nowadays. Who wants to be resilient? You guys want to be resilient? I don't want to be resilient. I want soft life. Nawadanganya. And unapata uko na hiyo anxiety, poverty makes you actually isolate yourself. Nobody wants poverty. Actually, you can smell it. Uko mbali when it's coming near you. And depression, that's why we have the high rates of depression currently. And then unapata, that burden of survival makes the path of stability look like an uphill climb. One of the questions that Gen Zs and us millennials, we are asking ourselves, nitahave kufanya kazi all my life kama mzazi wangu? I don't know if you guys have asked yourself that question. At 50, will I still be working? At 60, will I still be working? Some of our parents are still, like for me, my mom is still working, imagine, at 62. It's so sad. And I wish I had the ability to retire her. But so Mimi, I'm just a girl, guys. So these are some of the questions we are asking ourselves. When does it end? Nowadays, the generation we have does not have a capacity at kukaa kwa job 30 years. Ama kuna mtu hapa ako willing kukaa sijui job 30 years, the same company. I'll be shocked. But if you are there, we are not judging you. Is there someone here who's willing to stay for a job like for long, all their lives? Grow that ladder. Mercy wants to retire now. Hey, guys, hey, let me tell you. We need to retire early, sindio? And get that financial security. Sasa huku ni wapi? Yeah. So you find that chronic financial instability floods the body with stress hormones, keeping the nervous system in survival mode. Do you know, as much as people say it as a joke, pesa ni sabuni ya roho, number 1. Number 2, and I hope Diana and Paul, I can use Swahili. If someone does not understand Swahili, I'm sorry. I'm trying to make the presentation a bit relatable. Do you know that when you are living in poverty, you look even older? I don't know if you guys know that. You look older than your age mates. And like we've been saying, poverty is the enemy. So scarcity creates exhausting choices, emotional fatigue, anxiety, and depression, to a point that some people, and you guys know this because you've seen it even on TV, people are unleaving themselves because of money, because of poverty, because they're like, this thing doesn't seem to end. It seems like I'll always be working. Okay? So the trauma of scarcity, unveiling the emotional weight of systemic uncertainty, and the quiet pain on feeling unseen. That's the next topic. So unapata poverty is beyond material thing. It's not just about having less, it's the constant quiet terror of what if? What if the landlord calls? Yeah. What if the car breaks down? What if the food runs out before Friday? Nani hajajiuliza hii maswali? You know, I've asked, which one have I asked? Ya landlord hapana. M-Shwari. Mipigiwa na M-Shwari. Hapa mipigiwa na M-Shwari. There's no shame. Kama umeichelewa kulipa M-Shwari. Mi nimepigiwa and I'm like, nitalipa. That's how I answer them. I will pay. Even with no money. What if the car breaks down? Has someone asked this question? Anyone who has asked this question of late can be the only one. Anyone? Hata kama si yako. Okay. What if food runs out before Friday? Anyone? Guys, Amma, you can't hear me.
I can hear you.
Yeah. Anyone who has asked these 3 questions or something close to that? Mko sawa? Okay. Okay, thank you, Ruth, for sharing. Mercy, God has been faithful. Amen. That's good. I remember recently I gave someone a lift and I had to tell them I'm not going that direction because I was like, oh, yataona tanki yangu man. You know, poverty comes with shame. I don't know if you guys know that. So this Mercy, I'm telling you, na said her survival mode. You see us looking good here. Tunaficha mengi, but Mungu wako. This persistent threat forces the nervous system to remain perpetually hypervigilant. For me, maybe I can give a case in example. Like when you have financial security, you even sleep better, guys. You're not always worried about ati fare imeongezeka, that fare imeongezeka. Imagine sahi we are worried about fare imeongezeka kutoka 20 bob to 30 bob in my area. Then unapata ati imeongezeka kutoka 100 to 120 to 130. And you think that 20 bob ni kidogo until ijihesabu na hiyo 30 bob you're like, wow, life is becoming expensive. So some of the things I've encountered in the therapy room and in the mental health space is most of my clients are not sleeping actually. They are not, by the time they are coming to see me, they are struggling with sleep, appetite, mashida za kila aina, and I'm understanding them. Then you find that we start working on calming their nervous system to know that I may not have financial security tomorrow, but I'm going to work towards that. Okay, and guys, there's nothing as bad as an overworked nervous system. Anything triggers you. Hata mtu akikukanyanga hivi, ushakasirika. And we all know in Nairobi kuna mtu tu hata kukanyanga ama kugonga. You know, these people like kugonga mtu shoulders. I don't know if you guys have encountered that in CBD. People just walk funny, eh? Just hitting people. So you find yourself that you're very overstimulated. Not only you don't have money, but you're overstimulated. And you're angry. And now at 300 bob nails, sijui stick-ons, awards. And wanaona uko na kucha. Surely. Anyway. So unapata, is it a system issue, guys? Because you see, some of this thing is also rooted in families. There are families where people actually don't rise. Allow me to use those words. Unapata tu kila mtu ni maskini. Wakifika form 4, all of them, they get married. Ama wakipata bachelors, they are done. And then there are these families who are doctor so-and-so, lawyer so-and-so. Hey, I'm telling you, money is good. Usidanganywe, money is good. Okay? And I think this is something we need to be talking about in the mental health space, because a lot of people are tolerating so much. Even when we start talking about gender-based violence, it's because of money. Surely, guys, money is good. Money will save you from a lot. We can go to the next slide. The stigma. I don't know if I think Paris shared and someone else that wameamua they'll stay indoors. Do you know that is some form of, it's without knowing, it's an unknown stigma, because once you step out of that door and you don't have money, this is just the way unaendanga unapatana nao marafiki wako wako na pesa and you feel some type of way, guys. You don't feel confident because unajua ile mfuko yako venye inakaa. I am not a man. I cannot speak for a man, but I know this area is very sensitive for men when they don't have money. It's very hard to respect a man who does not have money. I stand corrected, but it's very hard. And that's our society. And that's the harsh truth. Get your money first, get respect. No money, no respect. Now you find that this person starts becoming silent because you're fearing judgment and you're carrying this burden alone. Okay, and that's why mental health is so important, to encourage people to talk about these problems. If it's death, talk about it. Don't feel shame. I remember I once saw in the news a police officer who killed himself because of an 80K debt. And I was like, wow. But then his burial, you'll hear 800 budget. Surely, guys, you know, we need to do better. At least I believe so. Isolation, when the shame of struggle becomes too heavy, it severs key social connections, cutting off the exact support networks needed to heal. But you know, right now, going outside without money, even your friends will start looking at you a certain way. Money speaks. They love you. They will excuse you day one, umeomba. Day two, you start becoming a burden. Okay? So just get your own money, guys. Get your own money. If you can relate, please put a thumbs up. Then in the Kenyan context, I think that's the next slide. So in the Kenyan context, unapata, most families are living from one medical emergency to another, one job to another, one contract to another for the parents here. And we know the schools are not giving us a hard time because of school fees, because they know the current times that we are in. Unalipa tu your school fees pole pole, mtoto wako ama watoto wako wanasoma with dignity, and life continues. Because if you're not able to pay the full amount, what happens? Okay? There's shame and stigma when a child is at home because of school fees. Anyone here who has ever been home when they were younger because of school fees? Anyone here who experienced that? I'm not asking you so that we can shame you. It's just that it becomes relatable. Anyone? And for those who didn't go home because of school fees, mwambie Mungu asante. Can you say thank you? Which one are you relating to? You didn't go or you went? Hey guys, simonge. The fees. Ruth, what happened to the fees? Mercy didn't. Or Ruth deferred. Wow, Paul Ruth. Were you able to complete, Ruth, after deferring? Or you're still on the journey? Oh, okay, Ruth. Me remember when I think I was in class 4, I was called outside because of school fees. Just outside, guys, they were embarrassing. And my dad was trying. He was a government, he worked in the government, and he was the sole breadwinner. He was really trying. So I knew sijaitwa juu amekataa kulipa. Imeitwa because amelipa kila kitu na bado shule ina insist pay the balance. I remember that's the only time, by the guys, I was called outside because of school fees. I was not called again, so I thank God for that. But I still remember it because it made me feel a certain way. So that stigma is not funny, okay? The judgment, the silence, the isolation. We see it in families, we see it in family gatherings. There's a rich uncle, the rich auntie, the one who's coming with a car, the V8. And then kuna hao wa ushago wenye wanakuanga huko bila technology. You don't even know how to use a phone. How do we bridge this gap? Okay, rewriting the narrative. It is designing systems, support channels, community centers around restoring human dignity. It starts with us. What can you do where you are? Is it paying for a child's fees who is not even your own? Okay. Buying a shoe, buying a uniform. Sorry, guys. Buying a uniform for a child, because sometimes it's like we are waiting. Like some of the statements I've had, jusi wangu siezi nunua. You see, but that person needs support there and then. They may not be your blood, but we say sometimes family is not blood. Is it true? If you agree, you can thumbs up. So I think I'm in slide 11. I don't know how true these statistics are. Guys, I made this PowerPoint so fast, but I know middle come ndio tuko wengi hapa. Our lowest income, our nanga stress kama our middle come because and I'll redo this slide because of that, because what happens with middle income earners, they're always trying to catch up with the Jonases. The debt, statistically, debt is higher in middle income earners than lowest income and highest incomes. True? Anyone who's agreeing? It says, psychological distress is directly tied to economic insecurity. These numbers represent real families bearing the disproportionate weight of fragile systematic safety. So if you thumbs up, I didn't see. I was looking at the slides. You can just comment. So how do we heal from this? What does healing look like? How does healing look like when you're coming from poverty? When you don't have a platform, when you don't have connections, when you don't have a godfather? What does it look like? It looks like safety. Let me first read what is in the slide. Like this one, empathetic spaces. Do we have that in Kenya? Do we have empathetic spaces that talk about financial wellness? I'm yet to meet. Do we have? Because I know for you to make money, you must have money. For you to go to a financial class, you must have cash. Do we have these spaces? Anyone who knows an organization that's doing this? Okay, relieving the pressure. Direct economic cushioning provides immediate security given the overloaded mind, the vital space. Like for this one, I will give the example of food. Imagine you can't go outside with your friends if your house has no food. That's a very simple example. So we relieve the pressure of basic needs and then we go meet other needs. There's that Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs that needs to be followed. And also restoring human dignity around compassion, that everyone feels valued and protected. This makes me question, how do you treat that homeless person when they approach you in Nairobi? Mwenye ni mchafu akona anakaa too undignified, guys. How do you treat them? Because they normally approach us. How do you treat them? Anyone care to comment? How do you treat those people? Joy, you can type, please. Let me see if I can see your comment. You clutch on your handbag. Wow. Leila is being real. Anaona kama vitu zake zitaenda. Diana is saying, I've seen a few come up. What do you mean by Diana? Maybe you can explain to us.
That was about the financial safe spaces.
Oh, you've seen them. Okay, maybe you can share like on the comment so that we can plug into such communities. I don't know if anyone here was bullied in school because of poverty. Me, I was bullied. Me, I was. My parents took us to a school they knew they couldn't afford. I think they were chasing the dream, but the cost of that was bullying. If I was not resilient, what happens to that child mentally? Guys, what happens to that child mentally? Because it feels bad. I remember a classmate calling me poor, and he was right. Hata siwezi mcorrect. Hata siwezi. He was so right. Singeweza kumcorrect. He called me poor, but we ended up living in the same estate a few years, high-end estate. We ended up going to the same university, international. God can do a number. But when I was in primary, he was calling me poor, and it hurts. But I was resilient. I don't know where I got the strength. Sikuwa wa kulialia. I just used to ignore and borrow their snacks. Nilikuwa nawaomba hadi wanasema huu ni muomba ombi. Napenda kuomba. Umeambiwa unapenda kuomba. Kuomba, mimi nimeambiwa hivyo, and I continued doing it because I had no otherwise. Have you been in such a situation? In a corner? And you can't even defend yourself? Mercy has been. So I'm reading the comments about town. Joy has commented. I usually feel bad for them, but I remember there are people who are using them to make money. Or some are not genuine. Okay. Treat them like suspects. Who is this? Mark Campbell. I just tell them, Silio, I'm at a missing sometimes. Ish Miriam. You guys don't help even one person, even like a helping hand. Me, sometimes I don't have the patience, but sometimes I'm like, I'll buy a meal. God help me. It takes everything in me, but I'm like, let me buy a meal. I may not give you money, but oh yeah, Ruth, yeah. Ruth Mimi, I was an unashamedly borrower. Let me tell you guys, let me give you a backstory. When I was in class 8, there was this school trip. I had never been to Mombasa, and Mombasa then sounded like New York. So the trip was 4,200, guys. 41 ama 4,200. Imagine. Anyway, my mom alisema hana. My dad had passed on at that time. So we went. I remember I was actually crying. I was like, she was like, okay, I'll loan some money to take you to pay for you the trip. So she borrowed the money. I think it was 41, 4,200. I remember the amount so well. And I remember we passed by these huge shops. I think they used to be called boutique. Zenye zimekuwa like meza na kila mtu anauza kitu yake, and I was looking at those clothes and I was like, wow, because I was so used to wearing second hand hand-me-downs, and I remember thinking, wow, this seems like a far off dream. Tulienda tu nikaona hizo manguo. I even felt worse. I wish I had not even entered that shop. And I'm telling you guys, I went to that trip with the clothes I had. Imagine unaenda Mombasa na pull neck ya July. I suffered. My mom could not afford a sleeping bag. Hata sijaisikia kitu kama hiyo. I learned of it that time, and she couldn't afford one. So I carried bed sheets, and I was supposed to sleep easy beds za chuma, because if you go to Mombasa with the school, you sleep in a school. And if they don't give you a mattress, so I had to put like my bed sheet on top of the chuma. How will that person sleep, guys? It's like sleeping on the floor. Okay. But someone, like a classmate, had pity on me, and she was like, we can sleep together. So that's how I ended up the first time sleeping in a sleeping bag. And that trip made me learn a lot. But guess what, guys? I begged that whole trip. Nguo zilikuwa zote za kuombwa. Zote. I remember wearing my closed rubbers na pull neck za July. I was so out of place. I think I have those photos. But I was resilient. Who wants to be resilient? Okay? I swallowed my pain. I'm just giving you I had not even planned to share my story, but I think this presentation is bringing out some flashbacks. The isolation, stigma, I can relate. You could say, oh guys, a few years later, my mom ended up owning that shop. Yeah, you remember that big shop? She ended up becoming an owner, full owner. She still has that shop till today, by the way. Yeah, so that's my story from rags to it's not my shop, but I'm so proud of her. She was able to fight poverty. And you could say, not today, I'm working on something. There is, okay. On next time, and we say we get it. Okay, I see Paris. Yeah. I had some of them take your money. What? Don't give them money, Joy. Kwani Nairobi ni chafu aje? Man, yeah, don't give them your money. And if you can pray over it, if you believe in prayer. So what does healing look like, guys? Safety before self-actualization. Are you safe? Do you have a roof over your head? Because sometimes we want to live in a house like State House, but you can only afford the most basic house. Single room, the one you go and bathe outside. Yes, that one. What healing looks like? Regulated nervous systems. Do you know, guys, it's never that serious. Kwani, how many plates of food do you eat? Me, I normally remind myself I eat one. If the worst comes to the worst, I'll eat 1 plate per day. So peace of mind is important. Community support. Talking about it reduces the stigma. I think having this conversation matters. Me, I've done 2 financial classes. Is it 2 or 3? But I've done financial classes to heal from my money trauma, because I grew up being told, pesa haimei kwa miti, money does not grow on trees. I didn't know how much it affected me